then when we had our second child, and I took Terry in for her 6 weeks checkup, and this physician said to me, well, you know, she also has microcephaly. And he said, if you want to have normal children, he said, my suggestion is that you either get a divorce, have artificial insemination, or adopt them.
There was a great deal of deficiency of information, background on the part of most physicians at that time.
Ronnie was in a residential program, and we had some difficulties there. And so I decided that it would be better for us if we could move Ronnie. So I called Tim. Thankfully for us, they were able to find a spot for Ronnie, and so he has been with Jubilee now for around 10 years. There's so many parents out there who desperately need services. They have medication issues, they have all kinds of things. And struggling with that all these years, it takes its toll. You can smile and you can laugh, but underneath, you know, it's like it's always there. Programs like Jubilee, I think, serve as models for, you know, other programs.
Ah, Richard. Batman.
40 years ago, you'd be talking about a person with disabilities retiring. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Jubilee has certainly lived up to its expectations.
My name is Connie, and I have 7
Woo, Connie!
I told my clean tape in a basket case. She just put them away. My father said, okay. My mother said, no, I think I can do something with it. My interests are art. From the time I was a kid, I would draw everything I could find. And even today, I'm at art school with art Naples. I met my husband at the Washington. I was at a UCPA conference and somebody introduced us, and I thought, this is it. When I came up and said, look, I'm engaged, that would be it. You know, my parents just sat there looking at me, and then they finally said congratulations. Being a grandparent, I really like it. It's fun. I've been with Jubilee for about 14, 15 years. I'm getting very good services from Jubilee. They help me a lot. They encourage me. I think the world should be more interested in helping them.
For 34 years, we have been providing community residential services for adults who have intellectual and other types of developmental disabilities throughout Montgomery County, Maryland. We've always had a tradition of roasting great community leaders, and Jeffrey fits into that.
Does she come here every day? No. Does she call you every day? No, I call her. You do?
Many important roles that he plays in our community, which we have benefited from. And so we're benefiting from that tonight. He'd be willing to be here and to be made fun of. Why did you agree?
I've heard some use their position to help others. It's really all about collaboration, and Jubilee works with other organizations, Jubilee works with families, Jubilee employs people in the field, and they are a shining example of the United States nonprofit.
At last year's roast, I thought Jubilee was an adjective describing a roast for Malcolm. I thought it was her friends and colleagues and people that knew her, and it was just a business function. I had no idea that what Jubilee was.
Curtis Cooper will be joining me up here.
The video wasn't enough, and the lights came on, and Curtis stood up there in person and delivered a speech. The strength and bravery that it took for him to stand up there in front of so many people and deliver it the way he did was remarkable.
Thank you for listening.
I thought about it more the next morning. My assistant and I called Jubilee and found out his information, and we wanted to buy him a bike. So we actually arranged a time to meet him at a bicycle shop, and we got him fitted for one and set it up for him.
Thank you, John, for what you have done for me. I appreciate it a lot.
Business people have their fair share of problems, but I asked every business person in here to evaluate the problems you've had this past week or this past month or even last year in total. Do they add up anywhere close to the problems and challenges that the people that Jubilee serves have? And I don't think anybody could say that their business problems are anywhere near the problems that these people have. You hear about things, you hear about charities, you hear about people that need help, and you think about it, you may feel bad about it, then you move on to something else. Everyone's going to drive home from here tonight thinking, wow, you know, that was very touching. But most people are going to forget about it by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I would ask everybody just to take a minute on that drive home tonight and think about, are you going to make a difference? One person, one phone call, one donation, 1 hour spent with somebody could definitely change their lives. As wonderful as the people are that Jubilee serves, think a step further, the people that actually work for Jubilee and dedicate their lives and careers to helping those people. As selfless as that is, I think the least everybody can do is every
of him first, and then to Kristen. Mark is the Vice President of U.S. Programs for Save the Children, a former state delegate, and of course very much a part of the Schreiber family that has made such an incredible difference for people with intellectual disabilities in this country. He was actually our first MC of our first roast many years ago, and so we're delighted to have him come back after 10 years to help us again. I'm so proud of the many people that we serve and their courage and what they do every day to live independent lives and to make a difference in their communities. And Kristen Ulick is an example of that. And so I've invited her to kind of tell her story this evening. So, Kristen, you're up.
And I'm a 40-year-old woman. I was born with spina bifida and a learning disability. Growing up was not easy for me and my family. Doctors had closed my spine when I was born. I had to go through a lot of surgeries growing up. Most of them were on my brain. My feet were club-toed when I was born. When I was still pretty young, I was diagnosed with a learning disability and epilepsy. have testing done on my memory. Ever since I've had a lot of surgeries. After my spine was closed, there were a lot of orthopedic and neurological surgeries that I had to go through. At birth, my doctors found that I had fluid on the brain, and they had to put something called a shunt inside my head in order for me to function. There were many replacements that had to be done. Also, my feet were club-toed, and my doctors had to fix them. My family is very important to me because they've been through all my surgeries and everything else all the time. Through the years, I've had a few jobs. One of them was, my first one was through high school. My teacher at the time found this job for me. I worked at the federal building at Bethesda, and I was a clerk typist. And I really enjoyed working there. I worked hard to get a diploma. One summer, I took summer school in order for me to pass the Normal Functional Math test and graduate with a diploma. And I did that. I was very proud of myself. In '88, I transferred from Kennedy High School to T.S. Wooten High School. Their vocational program was better there. For my depression, I also take medication, and as of today, it's really helped me very much. When I was looking for a job one day, I ran across the Inwood House, and so I checked it out. I didn't want to live at home forever, so I put my name on their waiting list. Around 1994, someone called from that building and told me there was an apartment. The first night I was a little scared, but that didn't last very long. And I like the fact that there are always people in the building that you can count on if you need anything. I've been living there for 18 years, and I'm very happy living there. My first experience that I had on my own was trying to cook. Don't mind me if you hear me laughing, people. When I put my hand inside my oven, I didn't realize that my hand had slanted down and hit the flame inside my oven. At first I thought my hand was on fire until I had pulled it out of the oven. So at that time I was still in my kitchen, shaking the oven lid like this, literally. And I didn't know what to do. So my first response was, because I was kind of scared and nervous at the time, so as soon as I set it down in the kitchen, my automatic response was to go to my telephone and call my mom. And then I said, Mom, what do I do? My mint's on fire. But this is my first experience on my own trying to cook a meal. Then she said, she laughed at me on the phone and said, go put it under the sink and go put it in the sink and run water over it, silly goose. And I was laughing at myself as I went back in the kitchen, picked up the mitt, and just turned the faucet on and put it under the sink, and I went, oh. That's what you're supposed to do when you're learning how to cook. When I went to visit Inwood House, I met a woman named Jane Mitch. She was in a band that was called the Interplay Company Band. They meet every